Welcome back, everybody. So, if you know me, you probably know that I have a good love of coconut rum. But did you know that rum comes in so many varieties and it also has a strong connection with Black history? So, we're going to explore all of those connections and we're also at the same time going to make some delicious rum cocktails. We have got drink and event expert Christina Veira who joins the convo today. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're the expert. So before we dive in, I selfishly just need to hear you, an expert, and what your judgment call is on coconut rum. Yay or nay, Christina?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a yay in the right circumstance. I think flavored spirits often
Oh,
get
okay.
a bad rep. I think the most important thing is what is used to flavor it. Are you using the actual
Hmm.
natural products? How is it
Hmm.
developing that? I'd say, have I enjoyed the coconut rum and soda from time to time? For sure. So I can't go full no. I just say, get a good one.
Thank you. I feel so vindicated.
Okay, we've got that very important debate settled. Now let's go back to the beginning. Because yes, rum makes delicious drinks, but as you said, Mel, it also holds this significant place in Black history, specifically for Caribbean and South American cultures. Christina, can you sort of dig into that a little for us?
Yeah, so I think one thing that's really interesting about rum is rum comes from sugarcane. So typically either the molasses or the actual sugarcane juice. It's so associated with the Caribbean or South America, but what a lot of people don't realize is that sugarcane actually isn't indigenous to either of those places. It comes from Southeast Asia. It's actually a member of the grass family, more similar to something like bamboo than something that you would typically
Hmm.
find in the Caribbean. There's a parallel with that and actually black people who make up the majority of many of the countries in the Caribbean, in that black people themselves are not indigenous to the Caribbean either, coming over from Africa as slaves and enslaved peoples. So one thing I really like to talk about when it's with rum is sometimes we gloss over that history and gloss over how it even came to be in the Caribbean.
Hmm. And I'm so excited. We're going to start off with something that is sort of like considered the prototype to the daiquiri, which I have been drinking a lot of. But this is called a Kenchenchara.
Exactly, you got it right. So, a Kenchenchara was the drink of Cuban revolutionaries around the time of the Cuban Independence War. What we're going to use is a Cuban style rum, and we're going to use 2 ounces of that. So, I already pre poured it for us to make it as easy as possible, so no spilling. And we're just going to pour it into this glass. Next, you're going to take your little bottles of honey syrup and lime. So, a lot of times, if you see a recipe that calls for honey, make sure that you dilute it with water first. Honey is very sticky.
Yes.
It'll often gum once you add ice, so diluting it with water will
Ah.
help you manipulate it. So this is 2 parts honey, 1 part water. All right, we're going to pour that in, and that is half an ounce.
Okay.
And then we're going to pour in our lime, which is another half an ounce. So you're going to add
Ice.
some cubes,
Okay.
fill your glass.
Okay.
So then you're going to stir, and you're going to stir for 10 to 15 seconds. Cheers! We did it. First cocktail.
Ooh. Ooh, Christina. Ooh, Jess. Oh yeah. I need a
Mel, this
veranda.
is good. Yeah, we need a
This is
veranda
very good. Oh
and some
wow.
sunshine.
The next one is called a Queen's Park Swizzle, and this is something that uses a
Ooh.
more traditional and aged rum. So tell us about the rum and why this is the best one for this next drink.
Yeah, so we're using Appleton Estate 8 year for this one. It's from Jamaica, so all Jamaican rums can't have sugar added. They can't have coloring added. And Jamaican rums are known to be a higher ester, fuller body flavored. So they tend to have some sort of funk and certain other notes. So Appleton itself has a lot of molasses notes, vanilla and baking spice and coconut that come from the oak. It's
Oh,
aged in oak
yes.
for 8 years. And it also has this top note of basically like an orange oil, and that really comes from how it is distilled in pot stills and a process that we call esterification. But really, what that means is it keeps a lot of fruity compounds, and then when it ages in barrel, it develops it. We're making Queen's Park Swizzle. It comes from the Caribbean, and these swizzle sticks are actually made with wood that people would just take from a twig, like a twig from a tree. Uh,
Ah,
when you take one, you're gonna put this end in, and we're gonna make a really nice chilled drink with crushed ice. Take a wide glass. I'm gonna use a mixing glass. You can use a shaker. You're gonna put your stick in here because we need it to be in there. All
okay.
right, so you're
Yep.
gonna take your rum, and we are gonna do 2 ounces.
Oh boy.
boy.
0.75 ounces of lime juice.
Okay.
Lime
We're going to
juice.
0.75 ounces of demerara syrup. So demerara sugar is a richer sugar that has a lot more like earthy tones to it.
Quickly, Christina, can you use just simple syrup instead of this, or?
You can use simple syrup, but simple syrup is usually
But
with
this,
white sugar, and it's just going to taste a
gotcha.
bit different. It's just the difference between, say, using honey, a rich syrup, a lighter syrup.
Yeah.
Easy ways to experiment. We're going to do a few dashes of Angostura, so you have a little dropper bottle that I gave you. So I would do about
Okay.
half the dropper.
Half the dropper. I'm not
Yeah.
a huge one on bitters, so I'm going to go for just a little less than what you said, just because I
Yeah.
know my palate.
And we're going to put a few leaves, about 8 leaves of mint in here. Next, you're going to take your crushed ice and fill your glass. So one trick with your swizzling is there's no timeline. What you're going to do is you're going to do it aggressively until your glass is nice and frosty. It doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom of the glass. You can just move it up and down. Back and forth and up and down. It's basically like a dance move.
Oh!
Right? Once it's nice and cold, you can pour it into a glass. And then you're just going to garnish
Ooh.
a little bit of mint if you have it. When you take your mint, you want to slap it and it's going to express the oil. So cheers.
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 Oh,
Oh, yeah.
this
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like a drink for a grown-up. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yes.
You've talked about the historical significance of rum for Caribbean cultures, but there's also a Canadian tie-in, specifically with Atlantic Canada. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, the relationship?
So rum is one of the most popular spirits in Atlantic Canada. If it's Newfoundland, if it's Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and a really big reason for that is hundreds of years ago, when Canada was a new colony around the same time as when places like Jamaica and Barbados were a new colony in the British Empire, we would basically trade the sugar cane and the rum up to Canada, and down would go salted cod. So we see an exchange of those products. So that's why things like ackee and saltfish and baked fish is so popular in the Caribbean when cod isn't really indigenous to there, and why you see people so excited about products like screech or just rum in general being such a big part of East Coaster culture and partying.
Okay, so our final drink, it's that you use it or you make it using either cachaça or agricole. So tell us about those varietals of rum, and also, how we're going to make these drinks.
Amazing. So we are using a cachaça. So we're using ava cachaça here. Cachaça is the spirit of Brazil, and the biggest difference between a cachaça or an agricole and your typical rums like the two we just had are those rums are made from molasses that is then fermented and distilled, and this is made from fresh sugarcane juice, which is then fermented and distilled. We're going to make a Caiburnia, which is the national drink of Brazil. You're going to start with raw sugar. You're going to put 3/4 of a lime in your glass, right?
3/4. Okay.
It's a lot, yeah.
And then you're going to add
Okay.
2 ounces of your cachaça. And we're going to muddle this. And you can take out a bit of your aggression on this.
That's therapy. It's rum therapy.
So you should have your sugar basically diluted. You should have all those lovely oils and juices expressed from your limes. And then we're going to add ice cubes as well. So we're going to fill up our glass.
I'm already telling, my nose already knows that this is going to be the strongest one of the bunch. Whew.
All right, so I am ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right, so
Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers. Woo-hoo! Ha! I knew it.
I don't think I've ever had this. This is so good.
It's very refreshing, but it's
Yeah.
like it smiles and then it just punches up. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how it starts. Well, Christina, I have to say that this has been so lovely. I love all the information you gave us. What an amazing historical lesson, in addition to a phenomenal drink. So thank you so much. And everybody watching saying, we need these recipes. I know you do. And we're going to put them up on all of our social media channels after this. Cheers, ladies. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
We're back right after this.